What's up, everyone? Welcome back for the second episode of the Tap Gaming Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Tim Utley. I am joined by my hypothetical partner in crime, Alfred Achutis.
Hello.
And the ghost of the internet, Chris Ruggieri.
What's going on?
Oh, not a lot, bud. How we doing today?
I'm doing well. That daylight savings time kind of screwed me over.
Fucked everyone up, I guess.
Yeah, it blows.
1 hour. It kind of tripped me out because I looked at my phone and I looked at my alarm clock and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, yeah, dude.
But anyways, enough about that bullshit. Let's get right into it. What have we been playing, boys? This is what everyone wants to know.
Well, why don't we have our good friend Chris start us off?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Take us away.
So, this week I've pretty much just been playing Fable Anniversary. I just picked it up, so it's been pretty good overall. I mean, there's a definite graphical enhancement to it. Some of the people's faces look kind of weird sometimes. Basically the gameplay and everything's pretty much the same. They did change some aspects of the interface, like your pause menu is pretty different than it used to be. I have had some issues with it freezing, and I did do some research just to make sure I'm not the only one. Turns out I'm not.
It's widespread.
Yeah, they're working on an update for it to hopefully fix those problems, but I mean, I've beaten the game before, so it's not really that annoying. I mean, it's more annoying if it's like a brand new game and you want to try to get through it. But
a lot Arkham Origins.
Yeah, I won't go there. But
we're gonna go there in a little bit, but not right now.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it froze a few times, but overall I've been plugging away on it. I'm probably 75% of the way through it. And basically I'm playing it because I want to try to reinvest my interest in the Fable franchise. So
not a bad idea going forward. Did you play 2 or 3?
No.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything. First one was the best one. All right, how are you playing the game? You playing good or bad?
Primarily good.
That's the best way to go.
I mean, yeah, occasionally I do bad things because you have to open. There's demon doors, if you remember.
Yeah, I remember the demon.
You have to kill somebody or something. And yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's I don't know, anything like that where there's kind of any type of morality meter involved. I always playing good the first time and then going through and just being a fucking asshole the second time around. It makes it more enjoyable.
Right.
But so that's all you've been playing?
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice. What about yourself? I heard you've been playing that Payday 2.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I did some of the training. I did an online crime.net mission, which was a lot of fun. There's a crap load of missions that you can do online. So I just did a random bank job with 4 people online, and it's funny because I had it's my first go at it, and it seemed like these guys had at least a couple of level ups than me, and we go in right from the onset. We're outside the bank. There's a security guard behind the fence, and he's just walking around, and I'm like, all right, so I couldn't talk to them, and they, for whatever reason, they weren't talking to me, so they just start gunning the guy down. I'm like, okay, we're doing this. I guess we're just gonna go into the bank now.
It's like that.
They just rush in, and I'm like, screw it, and I put on my mask, and they're like, oh my god, and I just start mowing people down. I don't know. I lose $3,000 because I mowed down a civilian. You're supposed to tie him down, but that's how I roll, and it's a lot of fun. I totally recommend it.
I'll have to check that out. It's a PlayStation Plus game.
It's free.
You got
yeah.
PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
Download
It's
it.
40. It's 40, but right now you can get it for free, so totally worth it.
PlayStation Plus is so good.
I love it.
But yeah, I guess that comes to me. I've been playing. Actually, I played quite a bit this week. I did. On our YouTube channel, I did playthroughs for both episodes of Walking Dead, episode 1 and 2. So All That Remains, House Divided. I played both those this week. I started and completed Rise on Xbox One. It's a fun game. I actually I didn't know really what to expect going into it, but it actually is. It's probably it's easily the best looking game on Xbox One. I'll say that. Come right out and say that. The combat is fun. Some of there's a few quick time events, like in combat there are a lot of those, especially if you're executions is what you're supposed to do because that's how you get the most of everything, focus, health, so on and so forth. It's just sometimes during the quick time events that kind of are supposed to be somewhat like part of the cutscenes. They have outlines like along the bodies, and like they just turn like if it's supposed to be like a light attack, they're blue. If it's a heavy attack, they're yellow. If you're supposed to evade it, you're supposed to hit B, which they're outlined in red. So some of the times it can be a little confusing, but other than that, I thought the game was fun. It's got a good story, and I think it's if you have an Xbox One, it's definitely worth checking out.
One question I was actually that came to mind with that game: repetition. How does that fall into play? Is that something that you have a hard time with that, or
the combat?
They change it up.
The combat itself, it evolves pretty well over the course of the game. It's not a terribly long game, but it can get repetitive in certain sequences. But the thing that kind of breaks the repetition in terms of the combat is the environments. The environments are always changing, which is nice. Like each chapter has not to be spoilers, it does come full circle. So you end up in one place, and obviously it kind of chronicles a bunch of different events, and then it comes back to it. But it wasn't, in terms of the combat, it could feel repetitive. But the thing is, as you upgraded your skill tree, like the executions would change, and they would get significantly more gruesome than the last. So it's cool. Like getting to the execution kind of felt not entirely like original. Like it would be like light attack, shield, light attack, and then execution. But doing like double executions in that game is hysterical because you'll cut one dude's leg off, and then the other guy will come at you. You'll like fucking bash him in the face with your shield, and then the other guy who's like hobbling on one leg, you just like slit his throat, and then the other guy comes back, and then you like cut his arm off and then like throw him off a bridge. So the combat it's extremely satisfying, and a lot of people, like when the game first came out, they made a lot of comparisons to Arkham. I don't think that's like Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. I don't think it's a fair comparison because it's a lot more. I'm not gonna say it's more refined, but it's a lot more demanding. Like in Arkham, it seemed like the combat it could get challenging at times, but in this you can get fucked up pretty quickly if you're not on point because not everything's mapped to one button.
Yeah.
So it seemed like it was a little more difficult in that regard, but other than that, I've been playing Rise. I started Dead Rising 3 on Xbox One. It's more of the same, it's fucking destroying zombies. I started playing Brothers on PS3, Tale of Two Sons. That game is fucking phenomenal. You have PlayStation Plus, download it, it's awesome. I'm probably about a little more than halfway through it right now, and I'm really enjoying it, so I definitely recommend it. The controls can be a bit cumbersome at times, but I think it's a really good game.
Nice.
So, but I made a slight addendum to the podcast outline, and I want to add a little quick section about what we've been watching because we all play games, but we also watch a lot of stuff in a given week. So I wanted to take a quick moment to just talk about what we've been watching for television shows, movies, etc. So, I will start with you.
All right. Movies
or television shows, doesn't matter. What have you been watching?
Today I saw the last 5 minutes of Bubble Boy.
Exciting.
Yeah, that movie's very bad. I don't know what happened to Jake Gyllenhaal, but no. Beyond that, I watched. I've been trying to catch up since How I Met Your Mother is ending at the end of this month, so I caught a few episodes. I'm not liking where it's going because I feel like it's going to be very, very depressing. But I don't want to ruin anything.
Well, let's not tread into that territory. So if you think that what you have to say is going to spoil anything, let's not go there. We don't want to be those guys.
Yeah, no, exactly. But needless to say, I'm hoping it's different than what I think it's going to be. But there's a lot of stuff going on.
You can still get surprised.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Anything else?
I still got some other things that I want to watch. I want to see, great thing to do is download the IMDb app and just sign up and register for free, and you can put in like a watch list. So I've been starting to do that and try to make it an effort to try and watch some of these movies. But I want to see like this movie I told you about, but it's like impossible to find, is Perks of Being a Wallflower. And it
I've heard
has...
of it.
Yeah, it has the girl Hermione from Harry Potter,
Was it Emma Roberts?
Yeah, Emma Roberts. Hermione.
and Emma Watson, right?
Or is it Watson?
Who gives a fuck?
All right. Anyway,
She's from Harry Potter. Look it up.
it
Go to IMDb.
it got really good reviews. There's also this other movie with Bill Murray in it and like Robert Duvall that takes place during like it's like I think during like the 1920s or whatever, and it's like a pseudo comedy, kind of like dark kind of comedy, and
Well, I'll give you a recommendation. If you're looking to find this movie, you can probably rent it on Amazon Instant Video or iTunes.
That's true.
Just gonna throw that out there. You can probably find it there.
Netflix needs to have like a release schedule that you can find out about. I wish they did, but
It would be nice if, trust me, I agree with you, but I know why they don't do it. Because people continue to subscribe to Netflix because it's kind of like...
crapshoot.
Well, it's not, yeah, it is a crapshoot. Like, you're at the mercy of their selection, but if you knew it was going to come out, like, who's to say that you're like, okay, well, coming out, and there's nothing I want to see in March, so I'm just going to cancel my subscription, and then in July, in April, I'm going to pick it back up because there's something coming out that I want.
Yeah, it's very true.
It's like it's not a conventional renting system. Like Redbox does that. Like you go on Redbox and you can see what they're gonna have in their kiosks for the next like month or two.
Yeah.
So I can see they can do it. They do that because they have, obviously it's rental and they want people to kind of anticipate releases. But yeah, check out Amazon or check out iTunes. I'm sure you can find it on either of those. You have the technology. But what about you, Chris? You been watching anything?
Primarily Arrow. I mean, that's pretty much the only show.
Walking Dead too.
Yeah, that too. Forgot.
Carl.
Glory.
I do DVR Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I kind of missed the past few episodes, so I got to catch up on that. But overall, that's a show I would recommend.
They're gonna have. Speaking about that, they're gonna have. I guess her name's Lady Sif from the Thor movies, the female character. She's gonna be in one of the new episodes.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah. Hey, whatever.
Sorry.
I don't know. Any way to entice viewers, I guess. But
I just fell asleep. But all right. Anything else exciting that you've been watching?
Not that I can think of.
Well, one thing that I've been watching, and this is a shout out to Chris. Chris and I come together and watch Arrow and Walking Dead together, but after each one of those episodes, he's made an effort to show me a show called Rick and Morty.
Oh, right.
Which is fucking hysterical. I recommended it to Al. I told him he should investigate it and look for it. I never saw it. I don't have cable, so I'm kind of at the mercy of others or crappy apps like CW. But where it's like over an hour to watch a fucking episode, which is ridiculous. But anyways, yeah, Rick and Morty, that show is fucking hysterical. Like, and I was telling Al, because he's a big Back to the Future guy.
Oh yeah.
I think he would definitely dig like the relationship between Rick and Morty. That show's hysterical. I finished up all 5 seasons of Mad Men that were on Netflix.
You were big into that.
I fucking love that show.
One more season left.
Well, yeah, they're in the final season's coming in April. I need to find a way to watch the 6th season. I think I'm just gonna buy it on Amazon and just watch it because I don't want to wait. What else have I been watching? I downloaded I purchased the streaming option for the first season of Dragon Ball Z on Xbox Live, so I'm going to make an effort to kind of burn through those again.
How many seasons are there?
On there, they're 9, but they gave away the first one for free.
Yeah.
So you can watch the first 38 episodes for free, which is pretty fucking sweet.
Well, I mean, there's like 500 or something.
Oh, for DBZ? 276.
Is it?
Maybe with maybe everything. If you're talking about like GT, Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball Z, it's like over 500.
Yeah, okay.
The Dragon Ball Z, they gave away the first season for to stream, which whatever, it's still a good deal. It's like $30 value for free. What else? I'm trying to think of anything else I've been watching. Oh God! All right, I did watch something, and this is coming as a warning. All right, I haphazardly add shit to my list on Netflix. I'm just like, oh, add it to my list. I want to watch it. And I just keep adding all this crap. And I added this one show called Sonic Underground. It's a Sonic cartoon from the 90s. It is fucking terrible.
Was that the USA one that?
I don't know where it came from, and I have no interest in investigating its origin. But this show is fucking abysmal. First off, it has the most fucking retarded story in the world. The opening for the show is completely nauseating and way too long. And I tried watching the first episode of it, and I was so fucking disgusted, I turned it off. I've liked, the last Sonic show I liked was the Sonic X that was on Fox. That show was good. This show, I don't know who thought it was a good idea, but it's fucking garbage. I'm warning you. If you find Sonic Underground, don't feel nostalgic, don't watch it. It's fucking terrible and a humongous waste of your time.
So Underground should stay in the ground forever?
Yeah. I don't know why that's on Netflix. There's a lot of garbage on Netflix, and this is definitely amongst it. It's fucking terrible. I'm telling you, do not watch it.
Duly noted.
But yeah, yeah, so other than that, I haven't been watching anything else. But let's move ahead. Let's keep it going. For projects we did this week, we released a pretty decent amount of videos. Put out another Monday Night Mayhem, another Fighting 40s, which is going to be live as of this recording.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, we did the Walking Dead videos. We did our first Tap Sports.
Dick and Buzz.
With Alan I's alter egos, Buzz Lansing and Dick Smiles.
I love those names.
And we're gonna and next week we're gonna continue the trend of just releasing stuff every single day, doing something different. But yeah, other than that, we're gonna jump into our little news bit. We'll just call it news. Yeah, all right. So, and this is in no particular order, but we're just gonna work our way down the outline. The president of Sony Computer Entertainment of America, Jack Tretton, has stepped down, which I took as a pretty huge surprise. This guy's been held a pretty pivotal role at Sony. He was the guy who did everything at the reveal back in February of last year for the PlayStation 4. He's been there for 19 years. He's been a pretty key figure there, getting everything up and running. And I don't know if you guys had any sentiments about his leaving, or if I haven't heard much beyond it, so I don't know if you guys read anything about it.
I checked up on it. I read some stuff on it. It's interesting to say the least. I'm not. Everybody eventually has a burnout stage, and maybe he was just burned out by it all. I'm sure just was I've led a bunch of different generations of consoles, and I'm kind of just reaching my end point with all this. So I'm more curious not at his end with Sony, but at his beginning elsewhere, because who knows what he'll establish. Maybe he'll just go completely out of gaming and into something else. Or
there's a lot of Sony has their hands in a lot of cookie jars, so maybe he'll transition to something else. Any thoughts, Chris? Are you just apathetic? You're just whatever, fuck him.
Rich motherfucker.
No, I was just wondering. I didn't really look into that topic, but did it say why he was leaving?
No, it didn't really. Nothing I read really went into detail. Maybe there was. I read this at the beginning of the week, so maybe there was some annotations made to those articles. But as far as I know, it's just he stepped down. He was there for 19 years, and it was just kind of a shock because he's been the face of PlayStation here, at least, amongst other notable figures at Sony, Kaz Hirai and stuff like that. He's kind of Jack Tretton is he's kind of like the facsimile of Reggie Fils-Aimé for Nintendo. He's he's like that power figure. So
maybe he goes to Nintendo.
Fucking hope not. Please don't, Jack. Do anything else. Go work for fucking Ouya or something. But yeah, in other Sony related news, The Last of Us is getting a major motion picture adaptation, and it's being done by Screen Gems. It's being produced by Sam Raimi of Evil Dead and Spider-Man fame, and it's being written by the lead writer, or he's one of the writers at Naughty Dog, Neil Druckmann. So I don't know how you guys feel about this being made into a movie. Personally, I'm not entirely enthusiastic about it.
I'm scared shitless because right when they were like, oh, from the production house that gave you all the Resident Evil movies, like the whole point of Last of Us was like it wasn't action, it was like the drama and like intensity and the relationship between these two characters, and I just feel like even with them writing it, that the studio's gonna be like, fuck story, fuck drama, let's get into freaking aliens and freaking, or they'll just like, they'll have their like hand in the cookie jar and just make it like an action-packed, like waterless story of just nothingness. It'll just be.
I think they're just gonna turn it into another like zombie movie.
Yeah.
Which I would hope with Neil Druckmann kind of being in the fold that he would have some authority as to how they use his property, but I really I don't think it's a good idea.
No, it scares me just because, like I said, I mean, you have just such an awesome dramatic story, and at no point did I feel like, they really need to kick up the action in this game, because you really felt for those characters. And
it was paced well, and I don't know. What do you think, Chris?
No, I agree with you. I mean, I'm okay with Neil Druckmann as the writer because he was behind The Last of Us, but Sam Raimi, that like you said, like it's scary because of what he did with Spider-Man. So I wouldn't really necessarily like to see him working on the movie, but and I'm kind of afraid what Hollywood will end up doing with it. So
there's two names I don't want to see in conjunction with this picture, and
it's
Paul W.S. Anderson, and I want fucking Uwe Boll to come nowhere near this movie.
I think the biggest indicator to know.
I don't want to fight you, Uwe Boll. I'm just saying I don't want you touching this movie.
I think the biggest indicator will be who they cast, because that will determine where they're going with the story. If they cast some sort of like pseudo action star, then you know where the movie's going. If they're gonna cast, like someone like Gerard Butler could.
Yeah, they need someone. They need a rugged man. They need someone who can look like disheveled but actually still act. I think Gerard Butler would be well casted.
You can do drama too. I mean.
Oh no, yeah, exactly. I think and as far as Ellie goes,
well, Ellen Page is too old, so.
I don't even think they really need they need some sort of like child star. Like I think they can get away with just, getting someone who
I think Gerard Butler would be a good option. Obviously, I might have a more recent bias to this, but I think if John Hamm let himself go for like a couple months and just got really scruffy, I think he could pull it off.
Yeah, that's a solid one there.
Yeah, it's just like I think you got to have like the height and the build, and I think Gerard Butler like you've seen him look all like fucking gross and shit before, so I think he could do it. Ellie, I think would be kind of a hard thing to do, but they're also the characters, they might be able to work it out. It's just like that game was so well done that it's just like they're going to be very hard pressed to be able to kind of match the quality of not only the characters but the performances. Like
that's the thing I worry about is like
I can't imagine anyone other than Troy Baker voicing Joel. Like it's just I don't know.
In the game world, like I always thought about this, like because I knew they were gonna eventually cash in on making a movie. Like that movie, that game is the top, like the echelon of games that like our expectations will only be for it to be like Oscar nominated movie. But unfortunately, we know that's just not gonna happen. but
Yeah, if they said something like, and also I think another issue, it's going to come into this, and we can move on quickly from this topic. Well, not quickly, but I think seeing how the game was based off the book The Road by Cormac McCarthy, and then they had a movie adaptation of The Road. It's like now they're going to make, so like The Last of Us was based off a book, but that book had its own film adaptation. So it's like, what can they really do to kind of distinguish themselves? Obviously, the canon is a little different, but it's like the main themes are still there. So I don't really know how they're going to kind of do that. But any final thoughts, Chris? Or are you just like, bad idea?
In general, I agree with you that it's a bad idea.
All right. So kind of getting out of the whole movie bullshit.
I can get lost in that stuff.
Yeah, we got to be careful. We can kind of go on huge tangents. Watch Dogs, the much anticipated open world game from Ubisoft, finally has a release date. It's coming out May 27th, 2014 for all major platforms, including Wii U, which was...
Oh, yeah.
I know everyone's just going to pre-order for Wii U. Yeah, I think that's, it's coming out 6 months after its initial release date, so I'm glad to finally see that it has a release date, but they just recently showed a new story trailer for it.
I'm not impressed.
I think I think that game really, like, I know they pushed it back because there was inherent issues with it, Chris, and I'm gonna ask your opinion on this in a moment. The game, I heard from various sources that the game lacked a lot of polish, and the game would have been a complete mess if it had come out when it was originally scheduled to. But I think it really missed its opportunity. Like, that would have been like a huge, like, new IP would have been huge when the games were long. Like when the new systems first came out, I think it would have sold phenomenally well. It would have attached really well with PS4, Xbox One. I think that Grand Theft Auto 5, I don't know if they were too nervous about releasing it in proximity to that release when it came out last September, but I saw the new story trailer and I was just like, I don't give a fuck about this game anymore.
Yeah.
But in terms of like polish, like Chris, you do software, like you work on software. Like, do you think that more time necessarily equates to a better finished product?
Well, usually, yeah. I mean, it is, it's difficult to estimate anything in terms of like how long will this take you to make a decent product out of it, and usually whatever estimations you come up with in the software world are wrong, and the software engineers behind whatever game end up eating a ton of hours to make the product good because you want it to be, because your name is on it. So
yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, excuse me, the game could have been like, I know it would have been like a buggy mess if it came out last November. I just think now, 6 months down the road, like this week Titanfall comes out, like in 2 weeks Infamous Second Son comes out, and maybe it made like the right choice of kind of distancing itself from those two titles, but I just don't know if anyone really fucking cares about this game anymore. Like, I just don't, like, I heard the news and I was just like, whatever. Like, I don't, like, nothing, there was no emotions that were elicited when I heard the release date. Like, with that being said, like, yeah, I do want to see how the game ends up being. Like, if it's a good game, then obviously I do want to play it, but I just think that, like, in terms of, like, the public consciousness, I think it just kind of faded out, and people are just like, okay, whatever. Like, this game, like, even when that first hurt, like, when I would go into forums and comments and people were like, that game didn't come out. And obviously that might have been a very small minority of people who just didn't know that the game didn't come out, but it's like, what if a lot of people were just like, oh, I thought this game already came out, and I just still don't care about it. But I don't know.
I mean, right now, I could care less. So that's just my opinion.
But big achievement this week. We kind of went back to this is going back to Sony again. PlayStation 2 turned 14 this week.
And we're old.
14 glorious years. Oh, I miss that system. I just wanted to throw that in there. I don't know if you guys have any feelings.
No, some amazing times with it. That's for sure.
Amazing time, amazing games.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't say anything more than that. There's a true love for that system. So
I agree. IGN had an article posted up. It ended up circulating to a few other websites, but I read it there first, so I'm giving them credit. Hideo Kojima, the director for Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, is worried that the game is too big and that it's people and players aren't going to finish it. He said roughly the game is 200 times the size of Ground Zeroes.
Which is wild. Hey, you know what? I'm all for it because those games take a very long time to come out, and I've at least liked what I've seen thus far. I know I'm gonna get Ground Zeroes and play that. The graphics look incredible for some of those outside missions, like when they're on the horseback. That looks really awesome, and I know you have your feelings towards Metal Gear as a whole.
I just don't fucking care about Metal Gear anymore. I just want it to go away. Give us Zone of the Enders 3. That's what I want.
But
we've waited long enough for that.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm looking forward. Not so much the story, because honestly, I'm lost with it now. Like, oh, he's bad. Oh, wait, he's good. Oh, no, he's bad, but there's a double agent who's actually another agent.
Is he a clone? Is he really dead? Who's that? Who's in the graveyard? Who knows? Who is he fighting? Is he fighting himself? Who knows? Stay tuned for next time.
Wait, 6 years later now. But I'm just more in line with Metal Gear. But
I'm so fucking done with that series. I just don't care anymore.
I'm just more in line to
So sick of it.
having a good time with just the different paths that you can do, the strategy in it, the tactical aspects of it. Those things really appeal to me, and just taking different routes and finding different ways to take out Dispatch.
You should be Splinter Cell Blacklist first. That game's about 16 hours.
Yes.
Well, the thing is, the thing that kind of concerns me is when he says roughly 200 times the size. I think he was saying that in terms of, and obviously
Lost in translation.
Well, maybe not lost in translation, but I don't know if he's talking about in terms of like gameplay time, because I heard that Ground Zeroes can be completed, not 100%, but it can be completed in 2 hours.
Mm.
Like it's a very short experience. So if it's 200 times in terms of play time, I'm not touching a 400-hour game with a fucking 10-foot pole. Like I just don't have time for that, and I just don't care. I just really
Metal Gear, play it 400 hours.
Yeah, like I have no
Love it.
I don't care. That's like might as well just call it Elder Scrolls 6, Metal Gear 5, Phantom Pain.
But there's another Snake. There's another clone.
I just don't care. It's so
Find out.
The story is so fucking convoluted and so Japanesey that at this point I just don't care. And yeah, I know a lot of people are excited for it, and fine. You have every right to be excited for that game. I just don't care about Metal Gear anymore. I just don't. Like I'm checked out of it. It's 2014. I want new IP. I want to get excited for new games. Like I feel Metal Gear is just going to continue to trailblaze forever, and I'm just done with it. Like
It's fair. I mean, eventually games kind of lose their luster, so I can agree with you at that aspect of it. I kind of gave up on Pokemon after they went past 150, because I was just, now they're up to...
So you gave up after Red and Blue.
Yes. So
Wise decision.
Now there's just too many damn...
There's what, 719 or something?
I
That's
don't
fucking
know,
absurd.
some ridiculous number.
I'm sorry. But...
Well, alright, we won't get into it, but yeah.
Okay.
With Pokemon, it's a little different because the core concept is still intact, and besides Black and White and Black and White 2, every single game has existed in a vacuum. Like, it's its own contained story. And the story is completely superfluous. It doesn't matter. With Metal Gear, like, everything's in canon. And if you missed one game, like, you go into it and you're just like, you're completely lost. And it's just...
You don't like the 20-minute cutscenes, Tim?
It's like 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours. Try 2 hours. Dude, Metal Gear 4 is a fucking 11-hour game with fucking 10 hours of cutscenes. Like, between internet, fucking, you can fucking flog me when I get this wrong. But, like, I think it's between chapters 3 and 4 in Metal Gear 4, 2-hour cutscene. Go fuck yourself. I don't have time for that bullshit.
The rain moves in the wind like soldiers dying.
Yeah, it was like, I think he was, yeah.
Blood everywhere.
I smell cloves in the background.
It's like a fucking, it's like the cutscene was written by Max Payne, where he's like,
I was in New York and I smelled gasoline coming off a cab. It reminded me of this time where I was smoking a cigarette in my apartment.
But keep in mind, though, we do love the freaking Max Payne.
oh yeah,
series.
I love Max Payne.
But you have to endure those moments.
You do have to endure those moments, but I would play a Max Payne game any day of the week over Metal Gear.
The blood drips off my stool, and it means everything in the battle of war.
Everything is just so everything is so abstract with Metal Gear. It's like
when I was cloned, I never knew that I was going to be fighting for a future that I wasn't going to know with my clone.
It's like, what the fuck does that even mean?
I haven't shaved in 5 weeks because war hurts so much.
War scathes my skin, and shaving reminds me of the war scathing my skin, and I can't deal with it.
But
I'm
that's
a clone.
that's Metal Gear.
My skin might fall off because I age rapidly because I'm a clone. Did I tell you I'm a clone? I'm a clone.
Anyways, all right. Once again, we're going off on our legendary
Metal Gear's funniness.
All right. Kotaku had an article that I wanted us to talk about, and they had, it was best games for non-gamers, and they listed a few, which I will recount right now. They had Journey, Tetris, The Walking Dead, the Telltale game, not that shitty fucking first-person shooter with Dixon boys. Castle Crashers, Katamari Damacy, Robot Unicorn Attack, which I have no idea what the fuck that is.
Adult Swim game.
Yeah.
And Portal 2. So I figured we could maybe run down this list real quick and say, first of all, if we can add things to this list, if there's anything else that you think is a good game for non-gamers, or if you agree or disagree with any of these selections.
Snood. You had Snood.
Snood's a great game for non-gamers, but that's, I think Snood was like 1990s version of Angry Birds or Peggle.
Yeah. Whatever.
I think Peggle should be on this list. I think any puzzle game, like I know they had Tetris on there, they probably didn't want it to look like best puzzle games for non-gamers. But Journey, I think, is a great addition. It's very, the controls are very simple. It's got a very beautiful story. It's quick, and I think this is something that they kind of, I didn't, like I said, I kind of just skimmed over it real quick, and I thought it was interesting. But do you guys think Journey should be on that list?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree.
I haven't really played it, but I watched you play part of it.
Yeah, you'll play Journey maybe before the next episode, or not. I'm lying. Tetris, obviously Tetris, I think is a good addition. It's a casual game. My mom used to fucking play Tetris, so.
I know this isn't probably casual, but like everyone has some sort of love for music, like the Guitar Hero games. If you can actually understand how to play it, then
I think the only reason why they wouldn't include something like a Guitar Hero or a Rock Band is because the interface for the controller, like,
yeah,
it's intimidating. Like, even playing on easy for someone who doesn't necessarily have that coordination to like strum and then hit the different keys, like, it can be confusing for some people. So I think that's why they kind of omitted it from this list. But I would agree. I think one thing that they, like I said, I didn't read the article, so once again, internet, do what you will with my body.
you suck.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole. Why don't you read, you retarded?
Get in Metal Gear,
I'm illiterate.
Yeah.
Walking Dead. Well, I think one thing they added is just like games that are like, in terms of like using a traditional controller, they were just easy to operate. So I think all those on here kind of fall into it. Castle Crashers, I don't really see how that kind of fits in. It's like Walking Dead is a point and click adventure game with a few. There's some input, but not a whole lot. It's mostly just walk over, click A, click Y, or whatever, and then there's some instances of action. Castle Crashers, though, I feel is a little more. I think like that's like a game. Portal 2.
R-Type, like the old school, like.
Okay, dude. No, like bullet hell games aren't for like non-gamers. Like,
Well, I
people
mean,
would flip the fuck out.
You have seizures, but I mean, all it is just shooting.
Yeah, but those are like shmups or like those are like hardcore games. Like you can like you can hand your mom a Game Boy and be like, "Mom, play Tetris," and she knows how to play Tetris. You hand your mom, a Game Boy, not a Game Boy. Hand your mom a Vita and be like, "Mom, play, play R-Type Final," and your mom's gonna die in fucking 3 seconds. Yeah, like bullet hell games. That's like no. Portal 2, I think is a good addition. I'm trying to think of other games that could fit on this list.
Mario Paint.
Mario. I don't think they're going that far back. I think in terms of just one thing, I don't know if they, like I said, didn't read it. I just gotta make that known. Yeah, I think they should have included games that are like good to watch. Like I remember playing BioShock in front of someone who will remain anonymous, and she enjoyed it. Like she enjoyed watching me play it. And it was one of the few games. It was like one of the few games that she would enjoy me watching me play. Other games that I think they kind of left off. Katamari Damacy, obviously, dude. Girls love Katamari Damacy. And I'm not saying that girls are non-gamers.
Girls love Katamari. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I was hoping not to go there, but yeah, that game is just ridiculous. You just run over shit, and it's hysterical. Yeah, I just don't know if you thought there was they could have added anything to this list, or if you. I think the only thing that's not really appropriate for this list is Castle Crashers. Everything else, I think, is kind of fitting.
No, I mean I'm pretty much fine with all that stuff. Obviously, people can say Candy Crush.
That's not a real game. We're not including baby games.
Snap, Crackle, and Pop. I at the moment I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that. I mean, I threw out some ideas, but
Snood. Yeah, Peggle should have been on that list. I think Plants vs Zombies is an easy enough game to kind of get into. But
yeah.
We can move forward. We have another. Oh,
well,
sorry. Oh my god.
I'm still here. Pinging on your, if you could have somebody like play a game for you and you just watch idea, I would really recommend, assuming you could find somebody who would do it, to somehow experience The Last of Us. If you have not, because I mean,
good suggestion.
That's probably like one of the greatest games of last generation. So
and all time.
For now.
Before Screen Gems ruins it, but anyway.
Yeah. I think Last of Us. Yeah, I would love. I think if you're not into gaming, but you definitely should experience that. Maybe I'll do a video. Maybe I'll play the whole game and beat it, so other people can just watch it if they are unable of. Which I don't know. Go buy PS3. It's fucking cheap. Fucking cheap. But we have another segueing into that. Chris did that unknowingly, or he did it knowingly, but whether it's ingenious.
It's all part of the
IGN reported that the creative director and writer for the Uncharted series, Amy Hennig, has left Naughty Dog.
No.
Fuck.
Originally, I was like really taken aback with this, and then I thought hard, and I was like, "What are we losing in the story?" And then I was like, "It's like the same story told again and again in the sense of, let's have him go through these extreme conditions, and then have some weird mystical creature that seems to show up."
It's still good writing, though. Like, imagine if you were playing Imagine if you're playing Uncharted and had the writing of a really bad game. What if it had the writing of like Rogue Warrior? All right. What about Alpha Protocol?
Wow.
These games aren't ringing a bell with you. How about?
I don't want them to ring a bell.
All right. How about if they had the writing of? Just think of a really bad third-person game.
Mind Jack.
Yes. All right. Uncharted has the writer from Mind Jack, or Inversion, or Bionic Commando, the remake. It had
Okay,
that writing.
well-
It's just like writing goes a long way, and like
I understand that. I mean, it's just like
it sucks.
there was some formula to it, though. You have to at least agree with that. Like at every end point of the game, they had some.
a formula to Star Wars movies.
Yeah, it just got a little bit repetitive until the third one really weaves a good story with like backtracking and like seeing Sully and Drake, like seeing that relationship and seeing how it started. So I did like that. The first it was just so like action oriented that I kind of put aside the story a little bit. So I sacrificed that a little bit, but I mean overall, yeah. I mean it sucks that she's gone. I'll at least say that. Like she did make a competent story. It wasn't like it was shit or anything, but in the same sense.
Damn right, it's not shit.
But in the same sense, I just felt like, at least with the first two, that I wasn't playing it for the story as much as I was for the action of it all. So
No, I agree. It's just like writing goes a long way, and I think that even with Uncharted, though, like yeah, the action sequences were incredible, but without solid writing to kind of paste together those sequences, like in between, like the games would have been abysmal.
yeah, I mean she did do well in making Drake like a lovable character,
Well, all the
humorous,
characters,
quirky.
Elena, Sully, all of them. I think like it sucks. It's a huge loss, and
But if you do have the guys from Last of Us writing it, then you
well, I
don't-
think those
you
were
know.
separate teams.
Oh.
Like I think Last of Us was a different outfit.
Well, I think that Neil Druckmann guy
Has he
worked
taken it
on.
over?
Druckmann was doing Last of Us.
Well, I think he
taking over
worked
the
on the writing for
I think-
Uncharted 2 and
Yeah,
maybe the first one.
they all.
I mean, if they take over, if those guys take over the writing, then I don't feel like you lose a significant thing.
It's just a huge blow to the company. Well, also like she not only was she was a creative director, so she kind of oversaw these awesome sequences that.
Okay, then that's fair.
So it's like it's a huge blowback for them. So hopefully she lands on her feet quickly and finds a new home and starts making awesome games again soon. Quick piece, Peggle 2 is coming to Xbox 360 on May 7th. If for those of you who are Xbox One less and want to play Peggle 2.
I'm a big Peggle fan, so that may steer me. I am a big Peggle fan now.
I was going to be buying.
I will drop $600 to play this game.
Just buy an Xbox One and get Peggle 2 on that. You'll like it more. Alright, we have a couple other somewhat inconsequential news pieces that we're gonna kindly just slip in. These are just like release announcements. I'm just gonna burn through these things.
Before you hit one piece of news that I have to announce.
Well, we have a couple pieces that I'm gonna burn through real quick, and then we have one that I'm gonna let Al spearhead because
It's totally fucking jawsome.
it is awesome. Fez is coming out on PS4, PS3, and Vita on March 25th in North America, March 26th in Europe. If you fucking care.
Tim's starting a Fez campaign.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck you, Phil Fish. The only thing that doesn't really matter, but I'm just gonna say it anyways. The Ouya wants to move its OS to other platforms. There's an article on IGN.
Ooh yeah.
Yeah, but I wonder why they want to move to other platforms because theirs is rotting on shelves. Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 2 came out this week. A House Divided.
Check out his playthroughs.
I did the playthroughs. If you don't feel like playing it yourself, you can watch me play it.
Episode 1 and 2.
Yes. Both came out this week. PlayStation's Spring Fever sale started this week. Awesome Knots Assemble is on PS4 for $8. Master Reboot is on PlayStation 3 for $11.99. Need for Speed Carbon, you can get it on PSP for $10 or $5 if you have PlayStation Plus. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit you can get on PS3 for $9.99 or $5 if you have PlayStation Plus, which there's no reason you shouldn't have PlayStation Plus. Need for Speed Most Wanted is on sale for both PlayStation 3 and Vita for $9.99 if you don't have PlayStation Plus, $5 if you do have PlayStation Plus. and Need for Speed The Run, PS3, $10, $5 PlayStation Plus. And we're just gonna keep burning through these. Something that you might be mortified by me finding amusing. A man got stabbed in Texas with a Master Sword.
Yeah, that was pretty. When I read that was pretty messed up.
Yeah, I read that story too.
People get stabbed every day, but not with Master Swords. So go read it.
Well, I was just thinking, like, are they going to try to tie this to video games?
Of course they will. Everything gets blamed on video games. When
hate that
when
bullshit.
fucking World War III inevitably breaks out, they're gonna blame it on Modern Warfare 3.
Everyone
They
needs
played
it.
Modern Warfare 3. This is why World War 3 started. Blame everything on video games because people are fucking stupid and they can't take responsibility for anything in their lives.
Well,
Anyways,
in this particular incident, I don't think there's enough evidence to point to video games. I mean, the guy just grabbed the sword out of
it's
self-defense.
a fucking weapon.
Just, it's not like he like dressed up as Zelda and went out in public like attacking people.
If you got the Ginzo knife,
It's like
people want to come after.
It's like if I stab someone with a fork and blamed it on food. It doesn't make any sense.
God.
Food made me do it. I fucking kill people with a bunch of forks, but what else? We have, and this I thought would have been, I don't know, it was kind of sad to read, but if you remember, this is going a little ways back, when they first announced Kinect on the Xbox 360, they had this project that was called Project Milo. There was an article on IGN talking about how this project has been shelved indefinitely and it's not coming back, and I was a little upset.
I don't want to wait.
I thought it'd been cool. Like I think it would have been a cool thing to do for Kinect, having kind of, because they got like fucking Kinectimals and all this other dumb shit, but like kind of being able to like talk, like interact with another human being. I thought would have been cool. Like it would have been like the second coming of Seaman.
Your semen has died.
Yeah, and if they could have got Leonard Nimoy, that would have been even better. But instead of talking to a fish that has a face, you could have talked to like a real human being. And when I say real, I mean obviously an avatar. But it would have been cool to be able to like talk. I don't know. I think it would have been a cool project, but it's not coming out. I don't know if you guys are upset. I kind of am.
I think
really.
it'll just maybe who knows.
Both entirely apathetic. Do you even have an original Kinect?
Somewhere.
In the drawer.
It's not connected.
Dusty.
It's not
I didn't mean
connected.
to. Yeah.
No.
Ew.
Maybe they use it. Maybe they use the demo as something for another game.
They're not going to. Don't get my hopes up. All right. One last not big, but one more thing that we do need to touch upon before getting into Al's opus is Batman Arkham Knight was announced this week. It's coming later this year, I believe October, and it's coming exclusively to Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. So they have finally cut their current gen umbilical cord, and they're not doing it, which I think is a very, 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 very smart move. I'm sick of companies like double dipping. I think people just need to start investing in next gen tech and just making games exclusive for that, so they're not allocating resources to other versions of games that, frankly, I don't think anyone's gonna buy. So I know you guys are both excited, so go nuts.
I'm freaking pumped. The trailer was sweet.
Yeah, the trailer was awesome.
Having that like scene with Bruce's father was awesome.
Well, the voiceover at least.
Well, the voiceover.
Don't spend all this money on expensive cars and outrageous clothing.
I definitely laughed at that point. Yeah, I'm excited, and just really looking forward to the point where they get some gameplay trailer out there, and really get a chance to see what these graphics are like. I'm very intrigued by the fact of the driving.
New Game Informer has in-game screenshots, and the game looks gorgeous.
I'm really seeing how the car interacts. The one thing that scares me, and I'm sure you can attest to this, Tim, more so because you're like a racing car game aficionado, is when a developer who's never done really seemingly anything with car games puts in like a car driving aspect into their game, there gives me some sort of apprehension. Like, is it going to steer right, or does it feel like it's going to feel like a car? Is it going to feel like it's floating? So,
I have confidence in them because I think if they made like this decision to include the Batmobile as a viable means of transportation, that they're going to take it seriously and they're going to hopefully, you know, bring in someone who has, you know, a working knowledge of how to kind of program that type of feature in the game, because they said the game is supposed to be 5 times the size of Arkham City. Like, Arkham City has a fairly substantial size map, so the game is supposed to be 5 times the size of that. So obviously, just, you know, running rooftop to rooftop isn't necessarily you know,
viable.
Yeah, it's not a viable means of transportation. It would take way too long. It'd be like running across San Andreas on foot. Like, it'd just be, and that's being slightly hyperbolic, but I think that if they're going to bring the Batmobile in, it's such an iconic like component of the Batman canon that I think they're going to treat it right. You gotta have confidence. It's Rocksteady doing this, by the way. It's not WB Montreal. If they made this game, I would fucking we wouldn't even be talking about it.
So, like, if they get the guys who did like Carmageddon, you'd be kind of scared.
Yes. Very. If anyone from Titus is working on that game, I won't play it.
Oh shit, Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely hyped for it. The Batmobile looks awesome. I love that they're trying to integrate it into the game finally. I'm definitely curious to see if it's gonna have like any sort of like hidden abilities, like, you know, like in the movie, like when it gets destroyed in The Dark Knight Rises.
Turns into the Batpod.
Yeah, like he gets that bike that shoots out or whatever. So I'm curious if it'll have any sort of like crazy transformation things going on. That would be pretty cool.
I really want them to incorporate. Well, you said that. I didn't think of that. I'm glad you brought that up because it'd be sweet if they had the. What the hell was it? Like, it was in Batman 1989 when he tries to make a really sharp corner and he shoots out like this like grappling hook out the side of the car and it goes around like a telephone pole and he's able to just like swoop around the corner really quick with Vicky Vale.
Oh yeah. Well, they
Yeah.
kind of did that pseudo with the cycle though in Dark Knight when they take down the.
Well, he took down a tractor trailer.
Yeah.
I'm talking like he was using this as like a
No, I know.
driving
Yeah.
maneuver, but yeah, I want them to bring that back. And also, if they have pre-order skins and one of them is Batman 1989 Batmobile, that's where I'm buying the game.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! Fuck yeah!
Or this
You gotta
Batmobile.
imagine.
Or animated
Sure.
series. They already did a skin for Arkham City for Batman animated series. So if they have a skin for that or 1989,
I'm down.
I might have to buy 2 copies of the game.
Mm.
I don't care. I'll do it. But yeah, no, I think it was seeing that was awesome. There was tons of rumors going around, and finally they kind of just lifted the veil and it was there.
You think the Joker will be in it?
No, I think they said explicitly like it's not. He might be in it, but like the story's not revolving around him.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
yeah, we're not going to talk about what happened at the end of Arkham City.
supposedly this is going to be the last game Kevin Conroy voices Batman, and I mean we grew up with him voicing Batman in the animated series, so he's like that.
The epitome of
He's
it.
that character to us.
He's like when we like. I know all of us, and I'm sure every self-respecting male has had this conversation where they've talked about their favorite interpretations of Batman. Obviously, like the live-action stars, but like Kevin Conroy always comes up in the conversation. Like he's that iconic, and
Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah, he's just as important to Batman, if not more important, because we've all consumed more Batman animated series than all the movies combined.
Mm.
So I think he's just as important, if not more important. So I think him coming back and reprising his role as Batman is huge.
I don't think kids will understand what they lose once he's gone, unfortunately.
No, they will understand. They'll get like movies like it wasn't a bad movie, but Under the Red Hood, like that animated interpretation of the graphic novel, like it wasn't Kevin Conroy, it was someone else. It wasn't bad, it was just different, but like yeah.
Didn't they have one of the Baldwins be the voice?
I have no idea. I know Neil Patrick Harris did. I think he did Nightwing, but yeah, whatever. They'll notice, and if they don't, then they're shitty people. But all right, so we're coming to our final news bit before we kind of get into a couple of user questions, and by user I mean user submitted. Al, take it away. I'm just gonna step back.
Okay, well, I was going through some of the news there through different outlets and came across a sequel to the highly critically panned game that is Shaq Fu. They are coming out with Shaq Fu 2, A Legend Reborn. So this is totally and completely jawsome, might I say.
Awesome.
I have to throw out like multiple jawsomes.
It's 3.
Right now, the project's on Kickstarter, and he's looking. Shaq D's is looking to get $450,000 in about 44 to 43 days. I can't wait for your reaction to this, Tim. But
I'm gonna have one, but I'll let you continue.
Anywho, it's gonna be more of like it's like a cell shaded kind of like reminds me of because they already have screenshots if you go to Kickstarter, but they have screenshots of it, and it reminds me of like Killer Instinct. It has like a kind of pseudo like cell shaded Killer Instinct like high def graphic kind of to it.
So, all right. Have you seen the trailer for Sunset Overdrive?
Yeah,
Kind of like that.
kind of.
Border like a high more hi-fi version of like Borderlands, like a little
Yeah,
more.
I mean, like, there's way more, like, it leans more towards the cartoon aspect than anything.
Spider-Man 2000 NPH MTV cartoon graphics.
Who knows? They're still getting the money out. Anyway, check this out. The top thing in terms of the person who puts out the most money, submits the most money to this cause, so to speak. If you are willing to shell out $35,000, you can have lunch with the one and only Shaq, and go to TNT Studios for the NBA TV show broadcast. You of course get the game, all the DLC, and you get Shaq memorabilia. Now, yeah, that only costs $35,000.
Mind you, you have to pay $35,000
On top of your travel expenses
on top of your travel
and
expenses
accommodations.
to have lunch with Shaq. Why? I have to pay $35,000 to sit down with one of the most uninteresting human beings on the planet and have lunch with him. Like, what are we gonna eat? Is he paying for my lunch?
I would hope.
Like, I better be like a fucking Kobe steak. He's like, oh, we're going to Subway. We're gonna eat Crunch Bars.
Do you need ice hot?
I'm gonna lather myself in ice and hot and eat Crunch Bars. I'm Shaq. Yeah, baby.
But yeah,
Oh my god, fuck this game. And the fact that Shaq is trying to like crowdsource fund this game is more egregious than fucking Kurt Schilling taking $75 million from the state of Rhode Island. Because at least there was some aspect of dignity to that project, whereas with this, it's just like, Shaq, you're asking for $450,000 from people to, first off, make a sequel to one of the worst fucking games ever made. That'd be like me going on Kickstarter and asking for fucking $500,000 to make Superman 64 2. All right, no one's gonna give me money for it, and if they do, they're doing it like ironically, and they would do it begrudgingly, like
because they're hipsters.
he's a fucking multi-millionaire. Like when Kurt Schilling asked for money from the state of Rhode Island, yes, he had a pretty sizable nest egg of money, but Shaq's net worth dwarfs Kurt Schilling, dwarfs it.
How much do you think he made from Kazam?
And Steel, maybe a couple $1 million a movie, but it doesn't matter. Like, he's Shaquille O'Neal. Like, he does not need to ask people for money. You want this done, do it yourself. You probably have $500,000 under your fucking pillow, you asshole. Like, how dare you ask people for money? Like, you're a fucking scumbag.
I invested.
Okay, I'm sure you kickstart it.
Do you want to go to Atlanta with me?
No.
Where are you going?
I think this is retarded. Like, I heard about this and I'm like, you have to be fucking kidding. Like, I thought it was a joke. Like,
Nope.
had this happened like 3 weeks later, it definitely would have been an April Fool's joke. But this is like, April Fool's has come early. Like, this is a joke.
Oh yeah, the funny thing, when I was on the site for Kickstarter, they had this little documentary on the whole thing, and I guess there's a website that you can go to that just basically has you try to get rid of all the copies of Shaq Fu, and so they have people throwing the game into a urinal and pissing on it. They have people setting it on fire.
And how, in any way, shape, or form, how is that supposed to instill confidence in hackers? We have people defiling old copies of Shaq Fu, and we're doing this in an effort so you're going to come back our new game, which is probably going to suck. I'm sorry, any game that is created in this type of atmosphere, I can't take seriously. I just can't. Like, I think it's going to be ill-conceived. It's going to be a terrible game. And if this game does get backed, every single person who donated money, first off, is a fucking asshole, and they're gonna get fucked, and rightfully so. If you give this project even a fucking dollar, I hate you.
I heard he signs your Icy Hot.
Good. I'll fucking lather up my balls with Icy Hot, and you can fucking sign those. I can't. I just don't. I don't.
Shaq, do you want to sign your Icy Hot pad too?
Yeah, he can sign a Crunch Bar, and I'll fucking eat it, and I'll fucking crap all over his face.
Can he sign your turd?
He can sign my turd. I'll give him a silver Sharpie, and he can sign it. I'll let it petrify for a week. I'll put it in a humidor and just let it get nice and... Actually, I won't petrify there. I'll hit it with some dry ice.
There you go.
I just don't get it. I don't understand why this is being done. Like, it's a joke. Like, there's people on Kickstarter. First off, I have
Tim's rage.
Well, yeah, I have very strong opinions about crowdsourcing to begin with.
Rage starter.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll make my own. Where it's just like you can just fund projects of hate and anger. let me strike that. But no, like, it's like there's so many people on Kickstarter who legitimately use it as a means to get a project funded, and then people like Shaq are just exploiting it. They're just exploiting this tool for their own for no fucking reason. Like, I gotta stop talking about it.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. So it's gonna happen one way or another. He's probably gonna get the funding.
Yeah, it probably is gonna happen. It's a damn shame because this is gonna suck. But all right. Well, that's it for news. We have a couple new releases coming out this week for anyone who cares. South Park Stick of Truth is out. Xbox, PS3, PC. Zoo Tycoon came out for Xbox One. And for the third time I've said this show, Walking Dead Episode 2 from Season 2, House Divided, is out on all major platforms. And by all major platforms, I don't mean PS4 or Xbox One. Alright, so we have a few user questions submitted. We have one from Ryan H. He talked about he mentioned briefly on our Facebook page about Michael Pachter and how he likes what he does. Michael Pachter, if you're unaware of what he does, he's a video game analyst. He kind of assesses the business end of it and kind of makes predictions and stuff based on those types of metrics. But he also asked us, he asked us about what other kind of ideas exist in as he called it, the blogosphere. I think really when it comes down to it, it's like there's sites, like you have your major sites, like you have like GameSpot, IGN, Polygon. There's a lot of parity between the three of them. They do a lot of news reporting. But then they also, they do reviews, previews, feature articles and stuff like that. The communities obviously kind of separate them a little bit. You have something that's a little more, so like, I don't know, like do you guys, I think it's like you have like major outlets and then you kind of have, like it kind of just starts to kind of like diversify itself from there. Like you have stuff like Kotaku, which they do reviews, they do, they have a lot of feature stuff, but it seems like they're a little more, I don't want to use the word hip, but it seems like they're a little more, I don't know what the word is. don't want to say they're cutting edge, but like they seem a little more. It seems like they'll report on anything. I think they're a little less discriminatory in terms when it comes to like they'll report anything. Like I've read stuff on Kotaku where it's like man playing South Park in the bathroom crapped on a kid or something, and like that's like a headline. Not a real one, but it's something that I could definitely see on Kotaku. I don't know. Like, what do you like for? Basically, what he's trying to get down to is like, what other kinds of like sites exist out there? It's kind of a broad question, but we'll do our best to answer it quickly because we're coming up on like over an hour.
Nothing really comes to mind off the top of my head right now. I mean, it's tough because as you go down from like the totem pole of like the upper tier of websites, like it goes farther and farther down to like people just voicing their opinion and it just not being professional, and it just gets to a point of like, this fucking sucks, this game sucks my dick or whatever, you know. It just gets like to a point where
I just did that.
yeah.
So we're at the bottom of the totem pole, if you're wondering.
Hey, we're working our, starting from the bottom, now we're here, right? No, but like in terms of writing, what I'm talking about is writing. Like, you can voice your opinion through podcasts and different things, and it's going to have a certain value or humor to it. But when it comes to writing, people go onto websites and read articles based on some sort of, sense of professionalism at the very least, or you have to really make it funny. And
yeah, like I said, I think there's a lot of parody in terms of what is being offered on most major websites. But as far as the other sites are concerned, there's humor, there's console centric ones. Like you go to like Team Xbox, obviously they're just going to talk about Xbox, Microsoft related stuff. There's PlayStation websites, there's Nintendo websites. So I think it's really like you can kind of refine what you want based on your taste. So if you want a little bit of everything, like a site like an IGN or a GameSpot or a Polygon, it's going to give you they're going to run the gamut and they're going to have everything. But if you want something that's a little more Nintendo centric, you can go to like, Nintendo, whatever. Like you type in Nintendo into Google, and obviously there's tons of sites just dedicated to all Nintendo and so on and so forth. But yeah, I don't know, Chris, you have anything you want to say about that, or?
I mean, no.
I love it.
Before we move on to the next question, I just want to congratulate Chris on making that ginger ale last an hour.
Good for him.
I said he couldn't do it, and he proved me wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have one other question from Trev. He asked us do we think there's a game that's worse than Tricky Treat? And if you're unfamiliar with Tricky Treat, we're not going to tell you how bad it is. You're going to go watch our Don't Bother video on Tricky Treat on our YouTube channel.
Definitely watch that.
Yeah, it's really bad. You know what? I would initially I would say I hope not, but I hope there is, and I'm going to find it.
And that only leads us to having you watch more Don't Bothers, because we're going to be looking for
Don't
those.
Bother. It's a tireless pursuit, endless pursuit of just terrible video games that we'll play, so you don't have to. That's our pitch for that.
And feel free to throw us some suggestions too.
Yeah, if you come across a really terrible game and we can play it, if we have the means to play it, definitely let us know. We don't have a PS4, so if you played a really bad PS4 game, we can't play it yet, but let us know and we'll put it in the archive. We'll kind of give it consideration when we have technology. PC games, if it's like an older PC game that's really bad, we can play it. But yeah, for the most part, it's mostly just going to be Xbox, Wii. We don't have a Wii U, so if there's any shitty Wii U games, then don't bother. Literally, don't bother. But yeah, all right. Well, I think that's it for the show.
Final thoughts, Chris?
Nope.
Love it. Again.
Love it. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for listening or watching or doing both, however you're consuming this. You should be following us on YouTube. Go subscribe to our channel. It's Tap Gaming on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter @TapGaming. You can follow me on Twitter @Tim_Utley. You can follow Al on Twitter @AlPocalypseNow. Chris, once again, you can't find him anywhere.
Off the grid.
But yeah, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more episodes coming to you in the future.
Check out our site, www.tapgaming.com.
Bye.